What the fuck was that? Good
Yeah,
morning to the
that's
internet on the morning after the Euros. Oh, Jesus. 14 goals.
well.
14 goals. Between 1960 to 2016, there have been 9 own goals. In 2021 Euros, there have been 9 goals alone. Like this is on some other trajectory.
Yeah,
My
this
God.
is yeah.
We-
Own goal has definitely one top scorer at this tournament. Like there is nobody can touch
Oh,
that guy now.
wow. Wow. I don't even know like where to start. Okay. I just like,
Okay, no, we okay. You brought up own goal. We
yeah, let's
start
talk
with
with own goal.
the own goal. Like we'll start with like most people would have gone with the France game, but I think we'll start with Croatia Spain because I think it was a more how do you it was a weird game, wasn't it? Like Croatia was out of it for most of it. The first goal was a complete fluke. Spain
What
were
was
definitely the. I mean, what happened?
what
Like
was that?
it wasn't a terrible pass or anything. Like what happened to Simon? Like he just like I don't
He
know.
just,
Like I
I mean, in cricket, we say you took off the ball at the last moment. And that's what he did.
yeah, kind of yeah. I guess so. I mean,
Oh man, wow. Wow. Yesterday was bloody crazy. Like 20, I mean, those 6 hours of football. And then of course, like Messi becomes Messi and shows
oh,
why
I
he's the
don't know what
greatest.
happened there. Like, did he like score a couple of goals or something? What happened? Like,
I
did he
mean, he
just
scored a
basically
couple.
annihilate an opposition?
Yeah. He's he scored a couple, he assisted one, he created 2 more chances on the day he was the highest. Yeah. He has
The
the
day after
highest
Ronaldo
appearance.
gets dumped out of the Euros.
The day when he has the highest number of caps representing Argentina. But that's not on the agenda today. I'm just like, football
Yeah, no,
like
no.
just
Yeah, it's just a
went
crazy day of football, right? Yeah.
crazy. The footballing gods. Mate, I don't have an agenda. Where the hell do we start? Okay, we started with own goals, but yeah, you wanted to add something to the own goals
Well,
thing?
I mean, I don't know. Like Spain's keeper situation is not something I've understood, anyways. Like De Gea is there, but De Gea is not in great form, so I'm not surprised he doesn't start. I
Yeah.
mean, he doesn't start enough for his club, so starting for your country becomes a much harder task. But
And
I
it
think
would have,
Unai Simon has been okay till now. Like this was his first
yeah, he's
poor
not
game
been,
because in the second goal also he was not great.
yeah,
Like
that's
in
what happens when like you actually let in, you cannot forget about it until your team won
yeah,
the
it just
game.
it sometimes just you just have a bad day and it gets compounded. Well, it wasn't a bad day at the end of the day because Spain
Yeah.
were able to pull through in overtime, like an
Yeah.
extra time.
Hmm.
But I mean,
They were awesome, by the way. Like they were rolling over Croatia
they were
all over.
rolling.
Like
Yes, they were.
the
Yeah,
first half. I
the
mean,
Slovakia thing wasn't a one-time incident. Like that much we can ascertain from this one,
I'm
right?
glad.
Like we
I'm glad.
can.
Yeah, yeah. But
Yeah.
again, after 80 minutes, I don't know. They're like, okay, the game's gone, which also we saw for the next game. We'll come to.
Hmm.
Yeah, and then they just like let in. Oh wow. I'm like,
Yeah,
Jesus,
okay,
what
yeah,
was?
we can talk about that like directly. Like what happened to these teams? Like both of them in good solid leads, winning. Then the last 10 minutes, you completely break down. Like what happens? Like why is this happening? Like is there any?
Not.
Do you see any particular reason for it, or like because I can't figure it out? Like
I don't know. Oh God. Wow. It's a very difficult question. Like even to like understand the Spain game. Like I don't know how Croatia got
hmm.
that those balls, those juices within themselves to like, yeah, give the last 10 minutes as though like their life depended on it.
Yeah,
So
I guess so. Like maybe I think because I think nowadays football is works in this way that like I think a lot of sports have started working in this sense, right? Like previously what we used to think is like a 2 goal cushion is good enough or something like
yeah,
that, right? Nowadays it doesn't work like that. Like it doesn't happen in football, it does not happen in basketball. Like basketball it used to be like 20-25 points, it's a blowout. Nope,
yeah,
that
yeah.
that concept is dead, it doesn't work
Mm,
anymore. So
true.
I think like teams have more confidence in themselves, and it's quite apparent, right? Because the younger athletes that are coming through, they're like, why not? Let's give it another shot. Let's try and push it to the limit. The
Mm,
sport is evolving, so that's a good thing, right? Like
true.
the excitement in the game still remains, even though it looks like it's over. and 2 games that definitely proved that yesterday. So
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Let's talk about the second one. Maybe we just like interlink both these games. They were so similar. Like
yeah,
one is
they were
losing, then they
exactly.
come
Yeah.
3-1 up, then they concede in the last 10 minutes, both of them 3-3.
Hmm.
Spain actually like decide to kill the game off in the extra time, and Morata like
Yeah.
he missed the first tap in, which Sarabi like put it over the roof of the net.
Sarabia has been one of the players of the tournament, hasn't he? When he
Yeah,
started playing, like
he's been the
today
fine
also,
leg.
yesterday also, he was awesome. Like right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Comments on the second game. We should firstly we should fucking stop predicting. Secondly, we should not
Oh
take
yeah, like
football so
well,
lightly.
that's a good thing, right? Like we should predict more because we turn out to be wrong, and when we turn out to be wrong, the games turn out to be awesome. So why
Yeah.
not?
Yeah,
We should
let's
continue
keep
this pattern because we're getting good results in terms
yeah,
of getting great games to watch.
let's keep that tradition then. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. What happened there? Like I was like, Kylian, Kylian, he, yeah. I as soon as he missed that penalty, I was like, okay, this is the making of a champion, and I'm so glad it happened to him when he's 21, 22, because
Yeah, he needed that dose of
yeah,
like every brilliant player has been through this phase, right? Like
yeah,
Wayne Rooney's gone through something like this for his national side. Who what do you call it? David Beckham had a similar thing when he got sent off in '98,
yeah,
and
yeah.
like there's been a long history of players who had to like he can talk to the number 6 on his team. He'll tell you all about how poorly you can be treated even though you are one of the most talented players in the world.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, these are character making moments, and I think character Kylian Mbappe does need a bit of a character making moment because you're at PSG, you hang out with somebody like Neymar, like it's an ego inflating perspective. Like
Oh God,
off the pitch, I'm not talking about on the pitch at all. Like off the pitch, there is a bit of an ego problem and there is a bit of a clash. But I think a lot of people have just directly shit on Mbappe, like, oh yeah, I was expecting him to miss the penalty. He's not been great this tournament.
of
Dude, he
course
was
they're going
pretty
to
good
say
in
that.
this game.
Of course they're going to
Yeah,
say that. I mean, yeah,
yeah,
again,
that's why I brought it up because it's an obvious thing to say because that's how people pretend they're experts about things. Like,
yeah, well,
but I thought Mbappe was excellent in the game. I thought he was really good. Like the second goal, like what a brilliant fucking pass. Like, did people forget what they saw 40 minutes ago?
I mean, yeah, people are fucking have short memories, no, nowadays. Like in this,
Yeah, I know. Like
when
we keep bringing this
so
up all the
short
time
memories. Oh
because
my
it's.
God.
I think it's something that we have to point out because, it's just like the final result. Like people make narratives out of hindsight quite a bit, and it's unfair. I believe. Like I think Mbappe hasn't had a great tournament. I'll be honest, but
Yeah, we have to be honest with that. That's not even the problem. Like he had 90 minutes until 90 minutes. He had an awesome. Okay, awesome.
he had an
Overstatement.
excellent
He had a
game.
good game. He had a good game according to his standards, and his
Huh.
standards are really high. He had a good game, which is an awesome game
Yeah.
for most of the players on this planet.
Hmm.
In extra time, he missed that one-on-one, which he tried to like shoot from the left rather than just like curling the ball from the right. It would have just gone in, and that was like the moment I thought that was the game, and he didn't do that.
Yeah.
I think, and I think it eventually came down to like how many times he missed an opportunity or one-on-one or like coming from the left flank during the group stages, and also these offside calls. So all this plays in your
Yeah.
mind in a fraction of a second, and then that's why I feel like this, even the penalty, him missing it is going to be like character building. He needs it, and he's so young. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
good on
Yeah.
him. Like watch him tear the World Cup next year apart again.
Well, yeah, he's already torn one. So honestly, I think, funnily enough, I don't think Kylian Mbappe needs a lot to add to his international, like his in France legacy.
Yeah,
You won a World Cup. You were the best player for your team in that World Cup. Like
At
think
18,
there is.
like you are the Pele of this generation. Like in
Yeah,
terms of like
yeah,
World Cup
that's a bit too much,
legacy.
isn't it? Like, yeah, being Pele and that we haven't seen a Pele in a long time. I think Maradona was the last guy who basically completely because Messi and Ronaldo and most of these guys of this modern age, they've established their legacies with their clubs rather than with their
Yeah.
with their countries.
True.
So
Mhm. He needs
I
a
think
move. He needs a Klopp
hmm?
hug. He needs a move. He needs a Klopp hug.
Yeah, maybe he does. He needs to honestly. He's got great management, but the PSG squad is such a squad of divas. Like it's, I think it's
So
impossible to manage after a point. Okay,
yeah.
actually coming back to the game, I actually thought France deserved to lose this. They gave away a penalty. They should have been 2-0 down.
Yes. Yes.
Like unlike Croatia's goal, France deserved to be hit with everything they got. In at least in the like they did what we did, and we are two people sitting in front of a laptop talking about football. They underestimated their opponent so poorly. I mean, what are you doing? Like Haris Seferovic is not great, we know that, but he's still a football player. He's an elite athlete. Are we kidding? Are you kidding me? Come on, like your marking for all the goals was so poor. I mean, these and the penalty was a penalty, no doubt about it. Pavard slid in and caught the guy. I don't remember who it was.
Yeah. I mean, I was still like 50-50 on that because the contact is outside, the impact is inside. But well,
Yeah,
they gave it in the end. Like it didn't matter for the people who
it's a
were
poor
actually.
slide tackle and it deserved to
Yeah.
be punished.
Yeah.
That's how I looked at it,
Yeah. Okay.
honestly speaking.
But like
Yeah.
Seferovic, my God, first goal. What is Delict doing? Sorry, not Delict. Why am I thinking?
You're remembering the last podcast we did. What is Dilip doing there?
Yeah, Lenglet doing I saw a picture like perfectly timed in motion and like he's a defender. We talked about this yesterday. As a defender, you're supposed to attack the ball more than an attacker. And he's like literally hiding under Seferovic as he just like looms up in the air and like heads
Yeah,
the
and it
ball.
wasn't like he was really high up in the air. Like, it wasn't like he was jumping like Ronaldo, where he's like you have to watch this man perform a miracle in front of you. It was just a normal jump. You could have interceded. It's not like, I mean, the marking like a lot of this falls on Didier Deschamps, doesn't it? Like the marking was poor, the structures were weird. Switzerland were able to cut through quite a bit. I mean,
The
they
fact that
created chances all game, didn't they?
yeah, the fact that we said that we will get to see a lot of goals here, and then France should just like brush aside them scoring 4 or 5. I think Deschamps tried that because you see, like he played 3 at the back, and then he tried to play Mbappe and Benzema as your 2 strikers with Griezmann playing this attacking midfielder. So he tried like a different formation because the last 3 games in the group stage he was like having 4. It was Digne and then the 2 Varane and Kimpembe and Pavard. So they had a back 4,
Yeah.
but in this game they went for a back 3, and then there was just one right wing back. Pavard was playing that. No left wing back because Rabiot was apparently supposed to
Yeah,
do
because
the
they
spot.
lost all their fullbacks also. Like Lucas Hernandez and Digne both got injured in the last game. So that's another issue that they had.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe
Yeah,
that
Rabiot was playing left back in the last game also because I think that's why they set it up that way, because they didn't want to expose the left flank. Maybe they wanted to
but they
be
were falling like a house of flies. Like Benzema got injured, then so I don't know what's happening. Like I think this
It's been a long season. Are we even surprised by the fact that a lot of players are getting injured? They've been put through the ringer, and that's another reason. I think that thing has to be brought up and talked about more. That the fact that these guys have been pushed beyond their limits, and like why else do our players like Bruno Fernandes not being able to play up to the mark? Because they've been playing too much. Like their players at the end of the day. Like for example, in concussion substitutes, the player should not be making those decisions because they are not in a position. They will have an inherent bias towards their position, their situation. The same way, the player should not be asked whether they want to play this game or not, because a player, whatever condition they're in, you ask them to play, they will play.
They will play
Because that's the we can't imagine how much they love football, right? Like we pretend as if Gareth Bale doesn't love football. Let's not pretend Gareth Bale, who's been playing football since he was able to walk, you know how much he loves football or how much he should love football. Let's not pretend, please. Calm down. I mean,
let's actually like not pick on flaws of France. They literally shot themselves in the foot, but wow, credit to this Swiss side. Like we
I
did
think
not give a
yeah,
chance. Like you were like, I mean, they made it out of the group where who were they in the group with? Ukraine
they were in
and
the Wales Turkey group, right? Like,
Wales, Turkey, and then they were like the third place finisher. So we didn't
yeah,
give them a chance at all, at all. But like
no, no,
Seferovic and
nothing.
Xhaka, oh, like imagine this Xhaka turns up for Arsenal, and he was being so inspirational and also like trying to sip on
Arsenal fans
Coca-Cola.
couldn't live with it, honestly speaking. They wouldn't be
Yeah,
able to live with it. A lot of what Jaka's problems are really exposed by the fact that that fan base has no willingness to back their players. Like,
yeah. I mean, you just see sometimes like people like these football players who really like suffer and they're like struggling at football clubs when they go to their countries, they are just a different personality. And Xhaka just like yeah came alive, like resurrected like a
yeah,
phoenix, and then he's like carrying his team forward, also the captain of the team. And I'm seeing like he's commanding this authority during the penalty shootout. And wow, this guy was, I mean, yeah, a day where like leadership really flourished. You got to
yeah.
see. And then I wonder why, let I don't want to pick up on Hugo Lloris, but I don't know what kind of a captain or leader he is. Of course, you always mention we don't know what happens behind the scenes, but imagine every penalty shooter is going up to him and is encouraging him, and that's not. I don't
That's not great, is it?
I
Fair
don't see
enough.
that as like you're commanding authority,
Well,
but
yeah,
like
yeah. I think Hugo Lloris's position with France and the fact that he's basically gets away, like he's there, like a permanent fixture in that team. That is something that I think you've pointed out before, and I think we haven't directly had a discussion about it, but
could you
uh,
imagine?
yeah.
Yeah, sorry, go on.
So I mean, yeah. Well, he's not that good a keeper, to be very honest. He's got a mistake in him. He saved an excellent penalty. Like no denying that. Like he's
Yeah,
the reason why France even went to the penalty shootout, because I think France
yeah,
should have been out in the 90.
yeah.
They were the worst team in this game,
Hmm.
and they created chances towards the end, especially when after the penalty, because the penalty would have completely changed the psyche of the game, right? Like France would have been a lot more deflated if that penalty had gone in,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it would have been much harder to pick up the pieces. So credit to Lloris for actually leading this team to the penalty shootout. But his he's got a mistake in him. He's not exactly a
Always,
leader.
always,
Leader. I
always,
think
always.
he's a more of a behind the scenes leader kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
But
He, yeah, he must be maybe like a Sami Khedira was when they won the World Cup in 14. Because you see,
kind
like
of maybe, yeah.
even if you know, like if you go back 8 years back, like no matter how like bigger personality Andre Pirlo is, he will never go up to
Hmm.
Buffon, or Buffon would never encourage him to come up to him and be like, give me some motivation during a penalty shootout. I mean, they would like
Yeah,
look,
fair enough. Yeah.
yeah. Even for Casillas, like Casillas is a very similar, like I feel personality to Lloris, Hugo Lloris. Like in stature, you also think like sometimes you could also confuse them between each other, but like Casillas never like
They just
he
look a bit similar, aren't they? Like Casillas
yeah
is a very confident and charismatic person
he
like that.
still had this personality, even though like Charles
Yeah.
Puyol used to like defend in front of him, he had this authority around his box, like, hey, these are my goalposts and I'm going to take
Well,
care of it.
honestly, Iker Casillas establishes authority when he was 17, when he came on as a substitute and
That's
saved a penalty or something, didn't he? Like,
yeah, for
like
the
I mean, I mean, I feel so bad for Madrid fans because he was one of their greatest sons, and Jose Mourinho, the everlasting image of Jose Mourinho, ruined that for them. Like the way they could say goodbye to Sergio Ramos, they didn't get that opportunity with a guy who meant a bit more, in my opinion, because
yeah,
it's not about what you win. It shouldn't be. It's not that's not how it's supposed to work, in my opinion.
yeah,
Like if Bruno Fernandes doesn't win anything, he would still mean a lot to me personally. Or like an Eric Cantona, he didn't win a Champions League for us, but he is one of Manchester United's most loved players.
true.
It's about how you like the culture you bring to the club. And Iker Casillas was one of those guys who was first of all brought up in that culture, and then he carried that cultural legacy forward. Hugo Lloris has none of those traits that Iker Casillas has. Like,
Yeah, I mean, we don't listen to French podcast, or like even a podcast would like the French national team podcast that would have given us
yeah,
a even little more meaning or in depth of what a character Lloris is, because I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure he has a lot of respect amongst this, and like otherwise,
No, he's a lot of love also. His teammates really love him. Like, look at how people react to him at Tottenham and how, like, even the All or Nothing documentary for all the kissing Mourinho's ass part for it. It covered some of the players and their motivation and their inspirations quite well, in the sense that Hugo Lloris was always seen as a senior figure in the team. He was a silent leader, a guy who sits in the back. He's not going to be vocal or anything like that, but he has authority. But yeah, it's not a great look when you are looking like the person in confidence, in crisis of confidence, and you're the captain of the team. Yeah, that's never a good look.
yeah. One word for Jan Sommer. Oh my God, he's having the summer of his life.
Yeah. Yeah, that pun will not stop, will it? Like, nobody's going to stop that one.
Yeah, I mean, of course, like, because Roman Bürki had an awful season for Dortmund and then he was benched. Jan Sommer gets the nod. This is like very similar to the Gea situation in Spain.
Yeah.
Because even if not Aspilicueta, the other keeper, the Chelsea keeper,
Arrizabalaga.
Arrizabalaga, yeah. If even he would have started for Chelsea this season, he would have easily been in post for the championship. Only because
Yeah.
he didn't want to carry two reserve keepers who are not starters anyways, was the reason. Simon is starting, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, so the same happened with Jan Sommer. Mönchengladbach goalkeeper, and then always in the not always, but like,
Well, he's played a lot for Switzerland also. Like, he's been ever present. He's been playing for a long, long time in the Swiss team.
Yeah.
So he's the elder statesman of the team, isn't he? Like Xhaka, kind of like.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think he's much older than Burki or anything, but yeah, he's been around the setup for so long. I think, yeah, you need guys like that there, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's always a matter.
And when you needed him, he's there. He turned up and he saved Kylian Mbappe's penalty, something you can tell your grandkids about. I mean,
and
well,
finally,
yeah, it's not like Sommer is some random person who just walked in and playing for Moldova or something. He's an established keeper. He's had an excellent career. But yeah, like Switzerland's first quarterfinal in God knows how long, and saving an Mbappe penalty to be on your way. That is a story to tell. That's a story, isn't it? Like, that's an inspirational one. Yeah.
And finally, the coach's story, Vladimir Petkovic, moved from Yugoslavia to Switzerland, then played all his career. I think he just played one season in the first league in Switzerland, and then the rest of his life in the second league of Switzerland. And then now he goes on to like carry the team into their first ever quarterfinals in their history. Portugal did not qualify for the quarterfinals of the Euros for the first time ever yesterday, and Switzerland qualified for the quarterfinals for the first time in the history. So yeah, again, a lot of records being broken here and there.
Yeah.
Last word, like, I really want to talk about like our reviewing, like Pogba. My God, he really lit up the tournament. That goal was just like cream on top of, like, and this is what I'm saying. This is what this guy can do. Give him the resources, and I would be fucking shitting my pants because
yeah, that's
like
I've known this 2016, man. Like, come on, like, we knew this was a problem. I've been talking about the central midfielder issue for a long, long time. You get tired after a point. Like, Nemanja Matic was never the answer, and they just wanted to buy. Like, they keep talking about center backs and right wingers, and they buy none of those players. I mean, it's I hope this I just, you need to provide a platform for him to succeed, and they've not done that till now. France does that so well. You've got the best guy next to you to fulfill your role. Like, that's a match made in heaven, Kante and Pogba, and Griezmann ahead of them. Like, it's just so smooth and it clicks so well. But we don't see it often enough. He was excellent at the World Cup also. And he was better here. He was genuinely better in this tournament. He was easily France's best player, and he could easily be, even though they're out in the round of 16, his name should be, if like there's 10 nominees for the best player of the tournament. Paul
just wanted
Pogba's
to-
name should be there.
Yes. Wow. What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which brings us to 2 games today, and I
Yeah.
am with what's happened in the knockouts. I'm pretty sure that Ukraine is going to knock out Sweden.
Nah. I'm going to stick with that Sweden team because
That's looking
now that everything's just gone haywire, that doesn't mean we don't try and be objective, right?
yeah.
Honestly, on paper, France is much better than Switzerland, but yeah, that's the joy of it, right?
Mhm.
That who cares about on paper? Yeah.
True.
Brighton and Hove Albion can fail in a season by being excellent on paper, but yeah, the same way France actually failed when the game is played on the pitch, and I don't expect Sweden to do that. I don't think Sweden has that kind of pressure or that kind of. I don't know. I still can't figure out why France lost this game. It's so weird. It was so avoidable. I mean, you
Yeah.
knew what the Swiss were carrying, and
I was simply, I mean, I'm not supporting this France side anyways. It's Germany and Spain, but I was just sad. As a football fan, I was sad because the power of what they can do when these the best team in the world is on the pitch, and if on their day they can give you football orgasms. And
Belgium,
that
France,
too-
and Italy, or Italy, France would have been an awesome picture to watch. Just from that perspective, a semi-final, like the World Cup had weird semi-finalists, right? Two teams faced off who have who most likely shouldn't have been there in England and Croatia. Well, Croatia deserved their place. England, I'll put a question mark next to them because they had a pretty comfortable journey through, and
watch them shit their pants at the first opportunity they get to play a big team today.
honestly, I'm not sure about this. The development cycle that they've undergone, right? The players have improved in the sense that it seems like a more they understand how this shit works a lot better. So at least the players, like the media and the fans, and they're still deluded as fuck. But yeah, anybody who still thinks I'm going to bring this up again, Phil Foden is the best, most talented player Pep Guardiola has ever coached. Should honestly have a hard look in the mirror. Honestly, just because you're Gaza, you're Gaza, you're not Messi. Calm the fuck down. Gaza and Messi are two different stratospheres of players. Gaza had an alcoholism problem. Gaza couldn't play for a lot of seasons. He had barely had a career after he was 30. I mean, that's your idol. That's the English people's idol. If I ask a German person or a French person who their idols are in terms of football, they'll come up with names like France. I think Platini would be one of the names. Zidane would be one of the names.
Yeah,
And these guys have
Andre.
Gaza, guy who barely won anything, didn't play for a top team. I mean, what?
Yeah, well,
the guy who was actually their best player in the past 20 years, they didn't even want to play him in the team. Paul Scholes was playing left wing. I mean, you're morons. You have no ability to recognize talent. Xavi and Zidane are able to recognize talent from across the pond. You morons. You're watching him every week and you can't realize it. Jadon Sancho is the same exact thing. You are fucking idiots. But this time, at least the people who are watching the analytics and stuff, they at least recognize the fact that Jadon Sancho is excellent. So,
well, he's not playing, and as Matthias,
yeah, well, they can't make the decisions, right? Somebody who misses penalties in Euro 96 is making the decisions. What can you do about it? It's not spiteful against Southgate. I actually like him, but yeah. Why didn't Jadon Sancho play that third game? It still kills me.
Yeah. Give him a German passport.
I wanted to watch him. That's all. Just from a personal perspective, I just wanted to watch the guy. I feel like I don't get enough opportunities. It's not even then somebody will tell me, why don't you watch Bundesliga? Dude, I watch enough football as it is. Please leave me be.
Yeah,
I'll watch what I want to watch. I don't want to just sit there and I don't get paid for it anyways. I'll do what I want. So fuck you.
Predict the games then. Predict the games. Predict.
Yeah, I'll take England, dude. Actually,
oh, fuck off. Okay, yeah.
I take England and I'll take Sweden. Yeah.
You know, if England win tomorrow, we are not recording. Okay.
Yeah, fair. Like, yeah, that's on you to decide.
Yeah. Opposite to you, like both Ukraine and Ukraine and Germany. Let's do this.
Yeah, okay.
Let's do this. Okay. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah. Anything to add on what was I think this was the craziest day of football in my life ever. Have you seen in terms of like world tournaments, where
yeah, maybe yes. In that sense, maybe yes, because
like even the World Cup didn't go so crazy. Like
no, no, no. World
was,
Cup. I think World Cup was just more exciting. Like every game felt like it meant more. The fans, dude. The fans is what makes this sport, and it's that simple. Honestly, in my opinion, if the stadium is full, the feel of it is completely different, and I think that's what I loved the most about the World Cup. Like everybody was so excited. Like there was such a electricity in the air, right? And
Mhm.
you need fans in stadiums for that to be reproduced. Like 50% whenever it goes up to, I think the feel of the game would be much better. Yeah, that's it. Like, yeah, we miss the fans. Want to go into a stadium and watch. Like, want to go to Anfield one day, and yeah, we are taking steps towards that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. On that note, hope we have half as good as games that we had last night, and we will have
Yeah.
something more interesting to talk about tomorrow. On that note, this was the morning after the Euros. Watch out for today's games as England are hosting Germany and Sweden hosting Ukraine. Bye for now.